Eagle, go, ECOM.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check. Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you could need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes on the Rift Nation Network. I'm your host, Joni Skinner, coming to you live on the Rift Nation Network, 8 p.m. Eastern on this lovely Wednesday evening. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you can find your wonderful podcast. We're on. We're live. How's everybody doing tonight on this lovely Wednesday evening? If you have never joined us before, I am a forensic astrologer where we combine astrology with true crime to solve mysteries like the one tonight. This is a big mystery going on right now. Mysteries, cold cases, unalivings, the Epstein cases. We do them all. You know, and the astrology is very accurate. I can say that. Very, very accurate. And then we take what we call the event chart on when the event occurred, when the person went missing, and it converts into mapping. What's a map? It's a map that we can give to law enforcement, to search and rescue. And we've had very good success with I do work with search and rescue groups, by the way, and I enjoy every minute of it because they are our earth angels. I hope y'all are doing great this Wednesday evening. Y'all, this is weird. I'm going to tell you straight up from the beginning, right? Because you guys know I'm not skeptic when it comes to UFOs or aliens. I just want to see the proof. It's not that I don't believe in them. It's not that I do believe in them. The universe is too big for us to not have life here, just in my opinion. Too many people have photographed. Too many people have had experiences with aliens. So I do believe that, but I'm like y'all, I want to see proof. And right now, I think since maybe 2020 or so, we're also skeptical. And I think discernment is needed now, especially just looking at the normal, what we call mundane astrology, which is the event astrology of everything that's going on right now around the world. Discernment is huge. That's my word of April. And when you go through some of these cases this evening, I really wanted to jump into the rabbit hole and say, oh, this is so cool. This is, oh my gosh, look at this. But there are some cases that personally I ruled out. So you all use your discernment. And if you feel like, well, maybe she's wrong, maybe she's right. I don't see that. We'll have to all gather into the chat at the end of the show and kind of, share notes. But we do that during the chat anyway. And this is it's not fun when people are missing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a fun show, but it's a mysterious show because it's pretty quiet out there. If y'all have noticed, it's not getting some media coverage. But what's really weird is if I do a missing persons case now with the help of AI or Grok or Chat GPT or whatever AI is out there, boom, it comes up. Research used to take me hours. Now with AI, of course, has combined all the information and it just gives it to me, right? Some of these cases, even AI is like, hey, there's nothing on this. And I'm like, well, was it wiped clean? What's going on? Nope, just nothing. And you all know as well as I do with missing person cases, and these are very recent missing person cases. It's out on the media waves. Some of these have zero information. They just went missing. Nothing. So that's a little weird. What are some of the similarities with all of these cases? Either these people were involved with all space scientists. Some were in cancer research. The majority of them were in the space realm. Some had invented, one of the missing scientists, she had invented a metal that could go into space. A lot were nuclear type people. So when you get 8 or 9 mysterious disappearances or unalivings, is this national security issues? These people are brilliant. These are our brilliant minds. Military people with the highest clearance in our country. So it just waits. Let's dig in because it's very, very interesting. And I think y'all are going to find it super interesting. I can't wait to get y'all your feedback. I hope y'all are doing well. Let's check out the chat tonight. Hello, Miss Lee. I cannot wait for you guys to chime in on this. And there is Miss Denise, our friends from Canada. How are you, Canada? Isn't it great, Denise, that our Americans and the Canadians are up in space right now? Isn't it great? They're headed back too. Have y'all been watching the space Artemis? Have you all been watching that? I've been glued to it. I think it's wonderful for our young people to be involved in watching the space information because that's all I knew growing up. I mean, that's all we had were space launches. It was in our lives, and it was neat. And I think it's wonderful for young people. It's great for our young people. Hello, Miss Denise. Hello, Sir Ed. How are you, my dear? Thank you for sharing us out. Miss Cindy, who is also on the Riff Nation Network with Mr. Ed Odell, who we have the Orion Effect on Sundays at 7 p.m. with Miss Rhonda, Miss Cindy at 9 o'clock on Monday night with her sounds. And, she deals with a lot of energy, which is so super important this year. And I will be on her show on the 13th. I'll be guesting on Cindy's show on the 13th to go over the astrology of April. I like the word unprecedented for the astrology of 2026 because it's stuff we haven't seen. April is just off the charts, crazy. But then you shoot to July, and we're going to have up in the skies. It's called. Now, when I say this, everybody's going to be like, "Oh no!" But it's not what you think. But it's called a pentagram or a pentacle. It's a 5-pointed star up in our heavens. It's going to be. It's off. It's going to be great. The moon in Libra comes in, and we've got all outer planets making a pentagram in the sky. Rick Levin, who's a famous astrologer, said this hasn't happened we're at 14,000 years now. We've had things 8,000 years, 6,000 years, 1504 with Columbus. That was the last time something happened. And now we've got 14,000 in July. Unprecedented. So that's pretty exciting. I could talk all night about astrology, I swear. Hello, Miss Lois. How are you? I hope everything's going well for you, hon. Miss Tammy, our search and rescue expert. Tammy, you made it and not late. Tammy's always taking care of her critters and her animals and her ducks and her Tammy is search and rescue. Chuckles is search and rescue. We've got a lot of search and rescue people here with us. Lots of search and rescue people. Earth angels, almost like I was just finishing up with the dogs. Thanks for sharing us out, Lois. I get everybody. Oh, hello, Miss Linda. How are you, hon? Miss Linda Nelson videos. Check out Linda's videos. Let's see. Miss Tammy saying hi to everybody. Did I get everybody? I'm excited for Monday too, Cindy. So y'all join in on Monday for I'll be joining Cindy at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on the Riff Nation Network. And we're going to go over, we're going to need just a little bit of guidance for all of the energy that's coming in April. Let's see, April 8th. That's going to hit about April 16th. But, it's all, here's the thing. It's all very favorable. So it can be a little bit shaky, of course, because change nobody likes change. Change is a little scary, but this is not to be feared because it's very favorable astrology. It's very supported. It's very favorable. So join me on Monday for that. And I think that's it. Let's get started. Have y'all, just to ask you guys in the chat, have you all heard about these cases where all of the scientists, they're kind of saying UFOs and scientists are missing. They're just disappearing. It's bizarre. I like the word bizarre. Let's get started. I wanted to update you guys on a little something. Let me fix this just for a sec, get this bigger. We have really stayed on the Nancy Guthrie, Miss Guthrie's case. Savannah Guthrie went back to her job on, I guess, morning television. And forgive me, I don't know what channel, but I know she's on TV in the mornings. But the police have asked people in the neighborhood to check their Ring cameras for January the 11th. between the times of midnight and through, or, late at night. So I thought, I am going to run a chart. Let's see what's going on, because remember, she was abducted at the end of January. Remember, January 31st, I believe. So they apparently know of a car, of something suspicious, or they wouldn't have asked people to check their cameras. So I thought, well, I'm going to run a chart and I'm going to map it this week coming up, and I'll show y'all next Wednesday. Look at this chart, you guys. This kind of was, as the weirdness continues, we don't know if we have a perp. We just know that there's something weird going on in the neighborhood, right? So you guys know by now, the third house on an astrology event chart is what? It's the neighborhood. Look at the green arrow where all those planets are, guess what? In the neighborhood, right? Nancy we've got Scorpio ruling her first house. So that's Nancy. She would be represented by Mars. Mars is in the third house. She's in the neighborhood, right? We know that. She's also represented by Pluto. Scorpio is represented by two planets, Mars and Pluto. The fourth house, Pluto, the little P, that's Pluto. Fourth house is what? Nancy was at home, because that's the house of home. So she's in the neighborhood, at home. Do we have a perp? We don't know if we have a perp, but we're going to look. The perp is up in the seventh house. Taurus represents the seventh house. What's the ruling planet of Taurus? Venus. Well, we found Venus. Venus is down. Guess what? In the third house. The perp is in the neighborhood. So somebody's in the neighborhood around her house, right? The sun is next to them. The sun right next to Nancy could denote danger. I'm not so sure that wasn't planned. The break-in was not planned that night, and something went wrong. Because of the fact, up in the perp's house, up in the seventh house, right? Where Taurus is, Uranus is up there. What's Uranus? Surprises, shocks, shocking. Something was disrupted with the perp. Something went wrong. That's my guess. I'm just guessing because we don't know what the police wanted. But I think it would be interesting to map this particular chart and compare it with the map from the night that she was abducted. Do we maybe have two areas that match up that could be both the perp's areas where the perp lives? Because we've got 20 days, so it's different planets. This is going to be a different chart than her January 31st chart. Could there be lines on that particular map that match up that we might be able to take us to a perp's house? Don't know. Ninth house. Look, the sun could also be an older man. Remember, that could be an elderly man. He's connected up to the ninth house. What's the ninth house? Highway. Could be a foreign person. Ninth house represents foreign people. Jupiter could be near a school, right? Jupiter's a school. So there's a lot in this chart that made me sit up and think. I think it's pretty interesting. What do y'all think? I think it's worth checking into. What do you guys think? I think it's worth checking into for Nancy Guthrie. Anything's worth trying for her. I mean, I'm not going to say the investigation was botched up, but I'm going to say it because I believe it was a little tainted, maybe. I don't know that, but I think the FBI should have been called in immediately because they have the resources. you put away any differences you may have, Sheriff, and you call them in. Now, do they have differences? I don't know. But why would you hesitate to call? Get the resources in there that's free. Get them in there. They're the best in the country, maybe in the world. Get them in there. So I'm gonna map this and we'll see. I thought that was interesting. What do you all think about that? I think it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Good stuff. Oh, okay. Cindy said, I remember you had her natal chart too, and her north and south nodes were lining up. The perps were expecting that. Poor Nancy. I know. I agree with that. I just kind of looking at the astrology, and I'm not certainly, I hate to guess, something I think drastically went wrong inside of the house. That's just my personal opinion. I have no idea. I'm just making it up. But I think why if you're going to kidnap somebody, you get in the house, you get out of there, and you get your money, especially if you're going to have ransom. Why would you hang out for 45 minutes? Nobody does that unless something drastically went wrong. I don't know. It's crazy. Okay, you guys, let's get started on this. This is what I think I'm going to do, and you all tell me what you think at the end of this. I'm going to show you who I think compares and match up together to map them at the end, and I'll bring them on next week, and we'll see if they match as well. Because I wanted to see, basically, with just this little set of them, do we have any that we can rule out? Do we have any that are similar? Do we have any charts that are similar in this mystery that we can connect the dots? Guess what? We do. Okay, this is our first, and bear with me because this is a little confusing because we have kind of, we've got a lot going on with these people. Okay, now Monica Reza. If you all recall, we had General McCaslin started this whole thing with us on mysteries because he went missing, and remember, he was a major general in New Mexico, retired. He had worked at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He basically was in charge of where they had, if there were remains, he was in charge of all that. He knew where everything was. And General McCaslin just up and walked away. Gone. Out of trace, without a trace. Left his eyeglasses. Who would do that? He left his phone. He left his Apple Watch. His pistol was missing. Now, his wife, they released the 911 call for the general, and she said it's like he didn't want to be found. He didn't want to be found. That was on her 911 call. Odd. Apparently he was going through some forgetful issues. The older I get, the more I forget too. It's normal. It's called aging. You forget. I use it as an excuse to forget. I use it. I'm like, I'm getting older. I've always forgotten stuff. Okay, so here we've got Miss Monica Reza. Now, Monica, here's Monica. I got Monica's file. Monica knew General McCaslin. Okay? General McCaslin went missing in New Mexico. Monica Reza went missing in California. Now, Monica went missing. General went missing in February of this year. Monica went missing in June of 2025. Okay? Again, we have Monica. There's her picture. Avid hiker. One thing about all these people that I've noticed, the scientists, they're all in tip-top shape. They all are in the outdoors. They love the outdoors. That's a common thread with all of them. Okay? Now, this is very weird. She was last seen on June 22nd 2025, on a hike on the trails. Her hiking partner was 30 feet in front of her. 30 feet. Picture, that's not that far. He or she, we don't know, it was her hiking partner, turned around and waved to Monica back on the trail. She smiled and waved, and he or she continued up the path, looked back again, and she was nowhere to be found, without a trace. Nowhere. Okay, Monica was nowhere to be found. They brought in drones. They brought in choppers. They did extensive search and rescue. Nothing. They found a beanie and lip balm. That's it. That's it. On a trailhead. And it was it was a pretty hard trail too. I do know that, right? Now, she's interesting because they use drones. Okay, she's 60 years old. She was an aerospace engineer and technical fellow at Aerojet Rocketdyne, who later moved to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. She was the co-inventor of a metal called Mondaloy. Mondaloy. It was a special metal used in space. Mondaloy. She invented it, right? Gone. Gone. Just like that. Puff. Can't find anything. Dogs, drones, choppers. Year. Okay. Let's take a look at Monica's chart, right? Monica is in the first house, so she's Leo. Ruling planet would be the sun. So where is Monica in the chart? She's in the 12th house, hidden. Hidden. Secrets. Remember that the 12th house is hidden secrets. It can be hospitals. It can be institutions. It's things that are hidden. If a person is hidden, yes. 3-letter agencies. Okay, I'm just saying it is. So there's Monica in the 12th house. And then we look for the moon as the co-ruler. She's up in the 10th house, right? So the moon is in the 10th house. Now, if you recall General McCaslin's chart, and I'm just going to tell you what the chart reads. General McCaslin's chart had activity in the 2nd house as well. We rarely see 2nd house activity. We saw it in Nancy Guthrie's chart. We saw it in General McCaslin's chart. Well, what do you know? It's in Monica's chart. What does that mean? 2nd house indicates an abduction. Can. It can be a marker for an abduction or a robbery. Okay, it can also mean a robbery because it's the house of money. But if you notice, it is connected to the sun, which is Monica. That's her chart. Hidden. Abduction. All right. So we'll kind of buzz through her chart a little quicker than we do normally with charts because we have a couple to go through. Of interest in her chart that I want to point to you all is the 10th. Okay, the 10th house, right? The 10th house is interesting. That's what the public sees. That's career, government, authorities, police. Okay. She's up there with the government. We know she was with the government. Evidence comes to light. Okay. Someone that knows something is invisible. Evidence comes to light. Hidden. All right. We look at the 9th house, okay? Because there's planets in the 9th house. foreign entanglements. Foreign entanglements with Saturn in the 9th house. Saturn is in the 9th house. Could be around a remote area. She worked in secrecy, covert hidden enemies, and Pluto in the 7th house. Now, I took this out of a book. I didn't make up these clues, okay? Covert hidden enemies, secrecy, power struggles, manipulation, secrecy. Pluto in the 7th house. So, evidence comes to light. This is Monica, the aerospace engineer. So she gets a check mark. We're going to keep an eye on her chart, right? Because that chart is just crazy. Crazy chart, right? So our next person that went missing, guess what? Melissa Cassius. She was an administrative assistant at the Los Alamos Laboratory. She vanished on June 26, 2025, right after Monica, right? She's in New Mexico. What was funny about that is she forgot her badge to get her into work because she, again, was in a very secret, top secret Los Alamos laboratory, right? Secrets. She forgot her badge to get into work, went home. She took her daughter's Subway for lunch. Her husband needed a ride home or a ride to go to work, and she was supposed to pick him up. She never showed up to pick him up. So they started to panic, right? At 2:18 p.m., a family acquaintance observed Melissa walking eastbound on Talpo, on New Mexico 518 toward the towards a creek and towards a park. The sighting, which was about 3 miles from the home. It was also captured on security video from a local business, right? When her daughter found her mom's phone, everything had been wiped clean. Okay. So she's down at the bottom. Okay. I got that off of the, I think it was the Daily Mail. There she is with the yellow arrow. She's down at the bottom, and that's her walking past the security camera. There she is again. Another avid hiker. They were going to go kayaking that weekend. Now, this is something that we have to look at. Because her chart was very close to Monica's, we're going to see some similarities in the chart, correct? We're going to see some similarities in the chart. But they're still a lot of miles apart from one another. So she is Libra, Venus. She's up in the 8th house, right? If there's a perp, it will be represented by Aries, hidden. So we've got some more 12th house issues. Hidden, purpose hidden. Again, everything's hitting the 10th house. The 10th house. The perp. Neptune would be working in a laboratory, working in the lab. Pluto would be with nuclear stuff, right? So again, we've got the same type of patterns in her chart. She also disappeared. So here we've got 2 now. But remember, with this chart, they did disappear around the same time. They do have the 10th house, which is packed again, right? So keep her in mind. We are not going to put her out either. We're not gonna discount her either. Melissa. Hey, okay, here's Tammy's got national forest. If you don't go in a national forest by yourself, too many crypt. Yeah, who said that? I just listened to talking about that. Tammy, okay, cryptids in the. I just listened to a podcast about a month ago on the people that have disappeared in national forests, and they apparently were telling people don't go in the national forest without another person with you. Never go hiking. So thousands of people have disappeared in our national forest. Very mysterious. It's really weird. Cryptids. I think it's experimented things. I don't know. I just jump down rabbit holes. Okay, so let's get back to this. I don't want to get all gerbil on a wheel and get off subject. Okay, so if we look, you guys, so we've got Monica, who went missing. Then we have Melissa, back to back, missing. Here's our next person, okay? Now, here's another odd one. Anthony Chavez. Guess where he worked? Well. Los Alamos Laboratory. Nuclear research facility. It was facility founded during the Manhattan Project. He disappeared without a trace on May the 4th, 2025. No explanation, no resolution, just gone. So he worked for the same company that Melissa worked for, right? May 4th, 2025. I couldn't do a chart on him because there is absolutely nothing out there on his disappearance. I do know that his house was empty. Same thing. Wallet was left, keys were left, everything was left in the home. Like General McCaslin, like Melissa, same thing. But there's no timestamp, no real date on his disappearance on Anthony Chavez's, right? So that's that. There's nothing I could do with him because there's no information out there on him. Let me see about Melissa. If there was anything with Melissa's, Neptune and the set, just blurred hidden themes. Just a lot of hidden stuff, y'all. Just a lot of hidden stuff with this. Okay, so that's hers. So Anthony Chavez, can't do anything with him. Okay. Carl Grillmar, 67-year-old astrophysicist who was shot and unalived on his front porch at 6 a.m. on February 18th, 2026. Let me find Carl's file stuff. Okay. He was celebrated for his groundbreaking research in astronomy, including the discovery of dozens of stellar streams, remnants of ancient galactic collisions, and the first detection of water signatures in the atmosphere of exoplanets, right? So this was another brilliant man. His role involved testing new instrumentation and ensuring the NEO's surveyors' instruments performed. He was just a genius, right? Now, look at my little circle with the line through it. Why did I do that? Okay, this is where he lived. Now, he lived in this area in Llano, California, because he wanted to live out in the desert because he loved to look up at the stars. He was an astronomer. He was a scientist, right? So we're like, here's somebody that mysteriously just got unalived, shot 6 a.m. in the morning. He fits aerospace science. You know, here we go again. Astronomy, another one. Inventor, bright, brilliant mind. Wait a minute. When we investigate the story, the person that they caught that did this, the suspect was a 29-year-old, multiple arrests, go figure, in California, carjackings, burglaries, arrested, multiple arrests. He was out wandering around. Now, Carl had called on this guy a month prior that he was out stalking around on his land. Okay? This guy, the perp, was known for robbery. Police responded due to the neighbors heard gunshots. So we've got a perp, allegedly, somebody that allegedly did this, who was out wandering around the property a month prior with robbery in mind. And I thought, uh-oh, so we've just got a crime, nasty crime on another one that was just allowed to roam free. Here we go again. Welcome to California. So let's take a look at Carl's chart. Look at the difference, y'all, on these charts. Okay? So here is Carl's event chart, 6 a.m. in the morning on Monday, February 16th, 2026. This is Los Angeles County, right? Look at the first house. If you remember, Carl is represented by the first house. It's Aquarius. Look at the purple arrows. Aquarius, the ruler is Uranus. So we look to the fourth house. That's Carl. Well, he's at home, in the home. Uranus is in the fourth house. He was at home. Remember, he was at home. The moon is the co-ruler. So it's in the first house. Who's the perp? Perp is Leo, seventh house. Who rules Leo? The sun. Now, remember when we have an event chart and the perp is in the first house, that marker says to us that the perp walked right up to this person. The danger was right there, right in front of him. Confrontation. He saw him, knew it. And that's exactly what happened on his front porch, right? So we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Second house. Look at that second house. Venus is in the second house. That's valuables. It's robbery. Car. Did he take his car? Mercury. So we've got theft, unaliving, and and then we're going to look at the third house. Look at that. We've got Neptune, which would be the cameras in the neighborhood, and that's what caught him, the perp. So I ruled Carl out because of this was, to me, it's clearly a robbery, just as the police had stated. Now, if you all, I don't know what y'all think, but I think this is pretty good. We're going to use the astrology, and according to the astrology, look at it. It's all there, right? Right? Okay, so that's that one. What do y'all think about that one, Chad? Just drop me a line in the chat. What do you think about Carl? So he was unalived at his home. I think it was a robbery. Well, I'm curious to think what y'all think. Okay, okay. So we've got General McCaslin. We've talked about him. Now, this Nuno, I don't know if y'all remember. Do you remember when we had that shooting up in December of 2025? And then a professor was then subsequently also unalived by the same shooter. And nobody could figure out the connection. This is that one. So I kind of was leery about that one, although he was a scientist, brilliant, MIT, plasma physics and fusion energy. But we already know that the perp knew him. So I discounted him. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. Because, the deep state's all over the place, right? Deep state's all over the place. And we're seeing things that are being uncovered every day. So we got to be aware. Okay, so here's our next one. Now we've got Jason Thomas. Now, as you can see, I got another line. So here I am being a little bit skeptic. Now, at first, when I saw his story, here we go. Pharmaceutical researcher testing cancer treatments for a big pharma, right? Uh-oh. You know what happens when people are close to finding the cure for cancer. We all know. Well, then, okay. He disappeared in December. He was found in a lake on March 17th, 2026, after gone missing for 3 months, right? Cause of unalive has still not been determined. Now, I typed this in. After I researched this case, y'all, I found information that his wife had stated that he was having a very rough time with the death of his parents. His mother had just passed, and while they were planning his mother's funeral, his father passed of a heart attack in his arms. So here they are planning his mother's funeral, and dad passes away, right? His wife, Jason's wife, said he was really, really having a rough time over this. And on this night, it was the first night they had gone out, right? So they went out. She said she heard him at the mailbox, and then he left home. She reported him missing the next day, right? I don't know. He was then found in the lake on March 17th. I was a little convinced of the story. Nonetheless, we're going to do a chart, right? Now, there's a picture of Jason. Okay. This is, Jason's chart got a question mark. At first, when I heard the story, I said no. Now, he's got a question mark. So we know Jason is Virgo, right? Virgo is the ruling planet is Mercury. Mercury is the green. I use green for him. Look at that. He's at the house. Correct. That's where he was. Look what happens. Go straight up. Follow the line straight up that's opposing Jason. Look at that. By a highway. Uranus. Was it an accident? They fall in the water. Taurus isn't water. I see no markers of self-inflicting. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It didn't mean that, there was something going on in his life, I'm sure. Because we look at the fourth house. That is family. That's home. We have an older gentleman. And look at the pink. A Venus, female. So we've got a couple. We've got mom and dad. Mom and dad are right there in the pink. They go up to his seventh house or sixth house, seventh, right? Neptune. Neptune would be the mental issues. Look at all those red lines that are leading up to the mental breaking point, right? And then we've got Pisces. So he was found in water. So this chart, y'all, is telling us, it's telling us a story, but I'm not quite sure what the story is. We see mental things. We see mom and dad. We see, and his wife said what happened. And all of those red lines are hitting Neptune, which could have been just the mental breakdown. Look at those red lines. But look at the yellow line I drew. This is what got me. The yellow line shows Pluto, which is your work, day to day, what you do day to day and work. And 11th house is people you know. So I'm very iffy on this one. All the markers are there, what his wife said. Everything. To a T. It's all there. But I don't know. You can see where the mental just hit. And if you recall, we had the teacher. Do you guys remember the teacher in Chicago? Same thing. Was it an accident where sometimes people are not thinking clearly? And remember, she fell into a lake. They go by the water. They're not thinking clearly. And Uranus was in that chart as well. Could this be an accident by a lake? Absolutely. Absolutely it could. I would think, and Tammy, you and Debbie would know this, with search and rescue, do you know when something is accidental? If somebody fell, would there be like a mark where they slid in? Would you find it on the search and rescue? I guess that's my question. So that is Jason. Okay, so we got Jason. So the Daily Mail did a little write-up. It says, and y'all can read this with me, nuclear labs, UFOs, NASA, JPL, MIT, the Air Force, pharmaceutical with Pentagon contracts, unalive or missing across a roughly 20-month window. Several with documented connections to each other and to programs that deal in classified knowledge about advanced propulsion, energy, and ETs. Daily Mail says, we will stop stops well short of claiming a conspiracy, but I won't. This is the reporter. This is a conspiracy. 8 cases with this much institutional overlap and in this kind of a compressed time frame does not happen randomly. And I believe that someone or something is systematically eliminating the people who know the most about America's most sensitive scientific programs, and nobody in a position of power is treating it with urgency it deserves. Now, a congressman from Tennessee did quote where he said, this needs to be looked at. This is not a coincidence. And the reporter says if the number keeps going up, at some point, it stops being a coincidence and starts being a body count. And I agree with that, y'all. I agree with that. So what are your thoughts, you guys? Thoughts? Oh, okay. Tammy's going to weigh in on the accidental. Depends on the circumstances. And if we don't know, the detectives most likely will have a wealth of knowledge and experience. Yeah. And it was winter, Massachusetts winter at a partially frozen lake. Crazy. Hello, Adam. How are you? Replied to Cindy. Cindy, I love talking about time travel. Oh, I believe time travel happens. I don't think there's any question about it, y'all. I think it happens all the time. These make me think of portals and time travel. These cases are so interesting because we really don't know what they were working on. Correct. Well, and you know what else I thought? And I thought, well, if they were younger, maybe they ran away, you guys. Maybe did they leave their spouses and run away? I don't know. What? I was just trying to think in my head, maybe they took off. And oh, okay, now here we go. Look at this. I wanted to show you guys this. Look at the 10th house on this chart. 10th house. Guess whose chart that is? That's the general's chart. And he disappeared after they did. They disappeared in the summer of 2025. He disappeared in February of 2026. Look at the 10th house. What? Look at the 2nd house. Look at the 12th house. Now, another thing is, you guys, UFOs would be Uranus. Uranus. See, look at my imagination's going, boo. I'm going to have to borrow Keith's tinfoil hat. So the general's chart matches the girls. The girls. I think I don't know. Adam likes to talk about time travel, and Denise definitely agrees with that statement. Oh, Lee thinks they're hiding. That's an interesting take on that, Lee. Do you think the people are hiding? Do you think they're hiding, waiting? Because we know, remember, they're getting ready to declassify the files, the UFO files. Probably they're going to be all redacted. They're going to be all redacted. I told you guys, did you guys, I don't know if I know I said it, it's aluminum foil. I told Keith on his show, this whole redaction crap. I had to redact some legal papers last week. There were 30 some pages. It took me 2 hours to redact them. It is a long, painstaking, horrible thing to have to redact legal papers. I felt sorry for the Epstein people that had the lawyers and the paralegals that had to redact those files. It took me 2 hours to do 30 pages. I'm not kidding. And I still had to go back with a Sharpie because I forgot. Whoops, left that name out there. Whoops. I mean, I got them all, but you have to go back and reread stuff. And then if you missed it on the computer, you use a Sharpie. Oh, it's a pain in the rear. So I think that's interesting, you guys. I think we've got, what do y'all think about the ones that I kind of said, nah, I don't think so. Should we include them in the mapping? Definitely, I don't think we should include Carl. I think Carl was a robbery. Just my thought. But you know what? A lot of that, y'all, people might say it's a robbery too. We don't know. They had cash. Keith. Oh. Imagine the cost of redacting all those files. What a waste of money. Oh, it was million. It had to have been up in the millions of dollars. It's not an easy job to redact files. My shoulder hurt. It hurt my shoulder. I'm like, because of the computer. I don't know why it hurt my shoulder, but it did. I was started to cuss by the end of it. And then you get to the point where the redacting thing, where you go and you're trying to use it and redact, the lines go all over the place and you get frustrated and you start cussing at the files. I did. So, all right, y'all, that is the show. I hope you guys like that show. It's a little bit different. I thought it was very interesting. What do you guys think about this? I think we need an investigation. I think they need to somebody. They got to, they're always talking about investigating something. Why don't they investigate this? Something that's worth investigating. Do something with our money that's worth investigating. I think this should be looked at. Maybe FBI should look at it. They got their hands full though, but I don't know why they wouldn't. I think they should, especially with people with top secret clearance. They should investigate. What do you think? Thanks, Keith. I hope y'all thought it was interesting. If they're not hiding, they're being held. So they don't delve any secrets? Could be. Could be. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Miss Cindy. Super interesting for sure. Well, thanks, Miss Denise. I hope you, and it's kind of different. It's a different kind of a show because we're so used to just seeing, one case and going over it in the mapping. But I thought, oh, these people, there are some links, I believe, Keith, because they may have been involved. Could be. I wonder if some top secrets got sold or whatever, and that's getting ready to be revealed in those files, and they didn't want people to know that they revealed things. I'm just guessing. I doubt it, but just kind of makes you wonder. I'd be a little scared if I worked at a top secret lab. I'd have a whistle or something with me. I'd have something to alert. So, well, you guys have a great week. Lots of Aries energy. Don't overdo it. It's very, very fast. It's impulsive. It's great energy. But you can go a little bit speedy and drive fast. So don't drive fast. Slow down. Get things done. We got wonderful energy this week. And actually, the next couple of weeks are going to be very hectic, but they're very productive and very good. They're very, very good. I'm very optimistic for this year. 2026 is going to be a great year. Bumpy, but great, according to the astrology. Yeah, I agree with Keith. Practice the pause. Yes, if you are an Aries rising, Aries moon, you're getting whacked in a good way. You're a Leo or a Sagittarius, you're getting the huge benefits out of this. And Gemini and Aquarius, you are too. So these are wonderful, wonderful transits. Libra's just stay in bed. Libra, stay in bed for the next 2 weeks. Take a cruise or something, Libra. I'm kidding. Libra, just balance. Libras are going to be like a gerbil in a wheel. Crazy. Squirrels. Well, y'all have a great week. I'm going to get off here. Have a great week, and we'll come up with some more true crime next week. Tune in, and yeah, Scorpio, Aries, and Sag. Yep, you're getting it too. It's good. It's hitting your Aries and trining your Sag planets. That's wonderful, Keith. So you guys have a great week. Play the lottery, I think, on the 12th. April 12th is one of the luckiest days. Play the lottery. So I will see you guys next week for another Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. I will have Miss Guthrie's map, and we'll compare those and look up some more mysteries next week. So enjoy the weekend. Thanks a million, y'all, for tuning in. I sure enjoy it. So have a great one, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.